And we're back. We got another episode of Saf in the City. Welcome back to everyone that's here. Appreciate you all. Back in Israel, where Saf in the City originated. It's great to be back. Been here for about 3.5 weeks. Off to a great start. I came back this year to just focus on my growth, not have to worry about job or school. Got to get the personal stuff down before we go on to the other stuff. And, I'm doing really well. And at the same time, working through a lot. So a lot of potential, lots to work on. Hope everything is going well with you guys. Always keeping the fans in mind, especially because, the fans are not only dear to me as Saf in the City, but at this point in time, pretty personalized people. Love you all. All right. So, one thing I was thinking, guys, is, before I say that, actually, right now I'm on one of those spiderweb swings, swinging back and forth. Really no better vibes than that. But, do we think that Saf in the City should have a theme song, or like a theme rap, or like a theme poem? What do we think? I recently was on a live stream that said you could put polls on your podcast. I'm going to see if after I record this, if I could put it there. If you see the poll, it might only be for Spotify. If you're watching this on Spotify, listening, and you see the poll, fill it out. Hopefully it works. Select an answer. All right. So the number one thing that I want to talk about, not the number one thing, the first thing is don't judge too fast. I found myself doing this in a lot of different scenarios. I found myself doing this right when I got to Israel. Things take time to settle in, You get comfortable somewhere. I get comfortable somewhere. And then I go somewhere new. And I don't like the people. And I don't like the living conditions and the food. And I don't know where anything is. And it's overwhelming and I get really stressed out. But one thing that I noticed is that when I judge things too fast, let's say I judge the location too fast. I don't like where this is. And then after 2 weeks, I explore a little bit and see what's around me. I'm like, this location actually has some pretty cool spots. But those 2 weeks, I was unnecessarily looking at it in a bad way when it could have just been decent and I could have been more open-minded. This relates more to people, right? You meet someone the first time or second time, maybe they're not your favorite. And you have this preconceived notion, I don't really like them. As time goes by, you get to know them more and you start to like them. And it takes time to get to know people. I don't have to be friends with them right away. But that doesn't mean that I have to be thinking negatively of them, So I think that I'm going to try my best to be more open-minded going forward. And I think it's a good lesson that when we start something new, just keep an open mind and give it time, because it takes things time. It takes things time to get consistent. So to anyone that's struggling with wherever they started this year, just give it time. Things could turn around. I'm a big sports guy. A lot of sports seasons can turn around. Last year, the Cincinnati Bengals started 0-2, made it to the semifinals. This year, they're 1-2. I still believe in them. There's always time to turn around. All right, that's topic number one. Topic number two. When there's issues that I'm facing, I would say in the past year, this skill has really helped me. When I'm facing an issue, it's really important to label it and to talk about it. I saw this either in a book or in a quote somewhere. When you name it, you claim it, and can work from there and move forward. It's really important to do that. When you own your story, one, it brings a new confidence to you. You get to be honest with yourself, and it really helps you grow a lot more. And the past, you're able to let go of it a lot more. That's what I felt from owning your story. And I think when it comes to naming, labeling, owning your story, it works the best against shame. As someone who experiences shame, I think everyone experiences shame. But I saw this in a book that shame loves to live in fear, in our fear. But if we label it and we talk about it, then that's how you defeat it. And I felt that true. And this could be hard to open up, but finding an outlet is really important. And hearing someone, give it to someone that's earned the right to hear. It's important to feel safe. It's important to not be judged, but it's also important to open up. If you like any of these concepts, this is from the book Gifts of Imperfection. I think it's by Brene Brown. I read this book last year. It really gave me a lot of insight. And I recently started it again, reading it with new eyes, and it's giving me a whole different experience. So that's that. On to the next topic. So a few weeks ago, I would say 2 weeks ago, we were on a trip and we were at the beach. I love the beach. It's one of my happy places. I always feel calm, great. You know the vibes. And I was in the ocean, and the ocean wasn't so deep, so I was sitting in the ocean. But the waves were pretty strong. But, I was standing my ground, and the waves were coming at me. And eventually, the waves knocked me down. And it knocked me down, and you know what I did? I laughed. And I got back up, went back to my spot that I was sitting in, and sat for another bunch of waves until I got knocked down again. And I think that's life. We're going to stand our ground, try to move forward, and the waves are going to come and knock us back. And sometimes they will. That's life. But just because a wave knocked me back, I wasn't going to leave the ocean. I put myself in the ocean. I wanted to be there. This is more metaphorical. If the ocean's dangerous, I'm not saying go in. I'm actually a lifeguard, so not beach certified. I try my best to save you. Don't know if I could, but I do everything in my power. But the point is that you could get knocked down. We're all going to get knocked down. But you shake it off. You get back up, and you face the wave. And the next time that level of strength, the wave came, I was ready for it. And it took a bigger wave to knock me down. And that's how it works. Resistance is a muscle. The more we build a muscle, the more resistance we'll have. So that was a pretty cool story. And staying on the topic of water, this was a quote that I have no idea where I found it, but it did something to me, resonated with me. So I wrote it down. And here's the quote. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets inside of them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and pull you down. And I think that's very deep. Something I was actually talking about today is I get very upset by outside factors. If people aren't living up to an expectation, or if certain things aren't going the way I want them to. And outside expectations, that's how they're going to be. They're going to be inconsistent. Some days the waves are going to be calm. Some days they won't. But when we let the waves inside, we let the water inside, that's when we sink. We gotta have our lifeboat standing on our own. Therefore, when the water comes against us, we have the resistance. Back to resistance. You gotta love when things connect in different areas. Life really is one big circle. This was a thing I found on social media, and I just thought that this was a very funny yet true situation, line, whatever you want to call it. The quote, no, not the quote, like the words "I'm sorry" and the words "my bad," they mean the same thing, besides if you're at a funeral, which I just laughed at that, had to save that, say it over on the podcast. So guys, if you're at a funeral, make sure to say "I'm sorry," not "my bad." Keep yourself out of trouble. Anywhere else, they're interchangeable. Today I want to talk about a line from a song, because we're grooving today. I feel like a lot of these topics are connected, but they're all really important. Hopefully I can come up with a cool name for this episode. Usually the names just come to me at the end, and it just sticks. Sometimes it takes me time and I have to sit on it, but like they say that when you have a kid, the name just comes to you. And I feel the same thing with my podcast episodes. My podcast is my baby Saf in the city. Anyway, so the song's called Beautiful Day. And the line goes like this. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. Day. If you want me to sing it, I will. It goes, thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. A beautiful day. You go check it out. I really like that song. And I find a lot of truth in that song. It really is a beautiful day. Every day is a new opportunity. I was just talking about like outside factors bothering me and, like how we could get to the inside. And I remember for a long time, I felt like unless I was inside in my bed, just covered up on my phone, if it was a regular day, that when it was raining, I was just automatically in a bad mood. Until last year, I realized that I have to work from the inside out, not from the outside in. And there was a rainy day, and I remember having a great day, and I was so proud of myself. Every day is a beautiful day. There's a new opportunity. Pain, we all go through it. It's really hard. It brings us down, but it's also what causes us to grow and to self-reflect. Self-reflecting really is the key. Life is deep, guys. There's a lot to see. And I'm going to go from a English song to bring it to a little bit of Hebrew. My aunt actually gave this Dvar Torah on Shabbos. Shout out to Aunt Tehuva. She didn't know that the podcast was a thing until I called her a few minutes ago and asked her for this Dvar Torah to say it on my podcast. So shout out to Aunt Tehuva. She is my mom's littlest sibling. Mom, you're the goat. Aunt Tehuva is a goat too. And here's how the quote goes. Ezehu ashir hasamech bechelko. I'm sure you've all heard it. It's someone who is rich is happy with what they have. But ashir, like rich, what does that mean, someone who is rich? And here's what she said. The word ashir is an acronym. It's spelled Ayin, Shin, Yod, Resh. And the acronym goes like this. The Ayin stands for Einayim, your eyes. The Resh, ashir, then the Shin. The Shin stands for Shinayim, your teeth. The Yod stands for Yadayim, your hands. And the Resh stands for Raglayim, your legs. If you have those, you should be happy with what you have, therefore making you rich. You know, health is something that we take for granted every single day. One of my rabbis, 2 years ago, told me that his father, when he was aging, started feeling pains every time he swallowed. And the lesson he took from it was that how long he took it for granted for. That was something he did thousands of times every day and just didn't think about once. Health, it's hard not to take it for granted, but let's not wait for something to happen to Chas v'Shalom, one of us, someone close to us, to appreciate it. Because someone who is rich is someone that has health. If you have health, you should be very, very happy. I wanted to say that. And all right, I got 2 jokes for the day. They're both the same concept. I'm gonna put a poll. Hopefully the poll works out and you guys can vote which one is better. Guys, please, if you're listening to this on Spotify, vote, because I always would like to make this interactive, and if I could get this right, this is a way to do that. Joke number 1 of the day. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? Anyone? Just crickets. And the answer is tentacles. I don't have a laughing track, so I had to laugh myself. But hopefully you guys laughed. And the second joke of the day is, why didn't the melons get married? Because they can't elope. Even though just laughed for the memes. Not even for the memes, just for the validation that the joke was funny. It's like in Friends. I like that there's a laughing track, because sometimes if you miss a joke, you could go back and be like, wait, what did I miss? But some people find it annoying. But, laughter is the best medicine, as the doctors say. Let's see how long this was. 12 minutes. All right, coming on 13 minutes. Guys, I had a blast making this episode. Vote on the polls. Send this around. And keep it real. Saf out.